Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're talking about the iron path. This is something that I've been developing for many years. When I first started working in the fitness industry, and I pretty much worked the full ladder. I did membership sales, personal training, health club management. I was always thinking about how can I incorporate concepts that will encourage people, specifically who are lifting weights, bodybuilding, to think about an approach that's more about consistency, that's more about lifestyle, as opposed to goal-oriented results. A personal best on a lift, a certain level of muscle, a certain percentage of body fat. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing that I would demonize about those goals. There's nothing that I would demonize about that approach. The only thing that I'm hoping to do here is to make a contribution to anybody who is in this process, to think about how they can adjust their perception in order to make this something that is a lifelong endeavor. Because I don't view weight training as anything different than I would somebody who has a meditation practice, as I would somebody who has a yoga practice, or somebody who is practicing martial arts. If you speak to anybody who's doing one of those things, we're never inundating them with this threshold of saying, you're either doing it right or you're not doing it right based on certain results. We know that it's good to improve in some areas, but we don't have that same standard for them. If somebody says they are practicing yoga, we don't start looking them up and down. We don't start concerning ourselves with, can this person hold or perform every yoga pose? If somebody says that they practice martial arts, we know that they're trying to improve their fighting ability, but we're not thinking, prove it, fight this person, fight that person. We know that the benefit comes in the practice itself. And I don't view weight training or bodybuilding, not that you're pursuing it professionally, but in many places in the world, what we call weight training, others will call bodybuilding. And I like that approach as well. And we know that there's benefits there, regardless of any short or long-term goal. And if we just stay consistent, if we just make it a lifestyle, we're still going to see many of these benefits, but it keeps us in practice. I see videos of people who are in their 70s, who are in their 80s, and they're still mobile. They still have strength. They're still doing so many things that people even a decade younger than them, maybe even 2 decades younger than them, in their 60s and 70s, aren't able to do anymore because they don't train their muscles the same way that these people do. And so if we're only looking at bodybuilding as a short-term goal, as a young man's game, and we're not thinking about longevity in our approach, then we're going to be missing out on so many opportunities to optimize our potential of what we're capable of while we're still here. And that's why I think it's important. There's a Netflix video, and they talk about people who have lived to be over 100 years old. And one of the key factors for them is exercise, it's movement. But what's interesting is the goal isn't necessarily to push yourself aerobically, to push yourself with cardio. These people just so happen to be living a lifestyle where they're needing to move around a lot, whether it's walking to the grocery store for many of their needs, walking to the coffee shop if the restaurants are within walking distance, if they're walking to visit friends or family, whatever it may be, just the fact that being mobile is part of their everyday lives, they're achieving the same benefits as if they had that exercise intent. And I believe bodybuilding is the same way. If we just approach it as part of our lifestyle, if we think about what we're doing today and we know we're consistent and we know that we don't need to compare ourselves to another person, to push our body in ways that will have a limited gain in the shorthand, but be detrimental to us in the long haul, then we can make this a practice that's separated from the barriers that I believe stop so many people from being consistent. How many people have you spoken to, if you haven't dealt with this yourself, who felt that the entire pursuit of bodybuilding isn't worth it because you tried it and you never got the six pack that you were hoping for because you tried it and your muscles never got as big as you would have liked in the short-term gain? If instead we're just thinking about this as something we're doing for our betterment, for our well-being, as part of our self-care routine, then I think we're going to have an approach that will bring in many more people, but most importantly, keep them doing this as just one of the many activities to improve their health for the rest of their lives. We brush our teeth, we take walks, we shower. Some people meditate, some people play sports. There's just so many things that we do, and we understand that the activity itself is inherently beneficial to us without having to anchor it towards any results. And this is going to be the same approach. So when you see the Iron Path, we're going to talk about concepts, philosophies, and ideas to consider how we can incorporate bodybuilding and strength training into one of those lifelong endeavors and one of those practice where the success comes in consistency, not in some form of external metric. That's all I got for this one. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video.